Are you kidding me?
Something terribly wrong with the car.
I'm still in the game, baby! Question for you. What do you think would happen if you took a $400,000 Rolls Royce Cullinan on a 2,000-kilometer journey through the desert of Nevada and California, completely off-road? Would it sink in the sands of Glamis? Would the rocks of Johnson Valley tear it up? Would the washboard pitted roads in northern Nevada blow out the air suspension? Yeah, I was pretty curious too. So I took a Cullinan to the Rebelle Rally. This is a 7-day off-road navigational challenge with no GPS, and it just happens to be for women. All navigation is done old school style with just a compass and a map. Think of it as a race not for speed, but as a rally scavenger hunt for checkpoints. Some are marked and they're pretty easy to find. Some are unmarked and we have to rely on triangulation and just a little bit of intuition. The challenge is twofold. Know where the checkpoints are and get the car to the checkpoints in one piece. My navigator Rebecca Donaghy and I won the 4x4 classification the previous year in a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon, and the pressure is on for us to repeat that win with the Cullinan in the crossover category.
3, 2, 1. Roll off the line. Woo! Oh, that's so exciting. Oh my God! Bye-bye! All right, where do I go now?
Day one, and we'd found our name for the Cullinan. We called her Eleanor, after the model for the Spirit of Ecstasy hood ornament. Eleanor is a Zaftig lady, 6,000 pounds unladen and 17 and a half feet long. The good news is that the 6.75-liter twin-turbo V12 puts out 563 horsepower and 672 pound-feet of torque, and it's mated to a smoother-than-silk 8-speed automatic transmission. But if I screw this up as the driver, it might just ruin me financially. The only thing to do was to push that thought from my mind and try to do my best day by day.
Oh, bunny! Did I ever tell you about the time I killed like 21 rabbits?
No.
It was in a race though. So I haven't aired down at all these tires. We've got the winter tire package. The PSI on them is 44. I haven't aired down at all because the sidewalls are not that strong and we've got a lot of rocks and I don't want to put those I don't want to have those sidewalls droop over in it at all. I mean, it would be a more comfortable ride, but how can this ride get any more comfortable?
So we think our black checkpoint is around here somewhere. This is when folks get really competitive and they kind of get sneaky about where they press their tracker because they don't want to give it away. And then if you look at it and you get it, you're like, yes. No, you have to be like all poker face until you get back in your car and you still poker face, and then you get like 10 feet away and you're like, or we go somewhere else and we pretend to press it, but we really pressed it somewhere else. So the thing is this is a black checkpoint for a lot of different groups. So everyone's here, but you don't know. I mean, some people might have it plotted different. Some people might think they have it right. Take a heading, yeah.
I'm gonna take a heading.
So you're not really sure. That's why people think that you can just follow other competitors, but you really can't because you don't know where people have plotted their points. So you have to go off of your plot.
You know what, Eleanor? I love you dearly, but you have to stop beeping at me. We got an error message. Battery supply just says stop carefully, power supply, and then it doesn't give us anything else.
It just says stop carefully and
call roadside assistance.
All right, so it's only day 2. We've already made it to the dunes. We're out here at Big Dune in Nevada. You can see all of that loveliness back there. We're searching for a black checkpoint. So far, the Rolls is doing really well. I've aired down to about 30, and I don't want to push it in these dunes only because I don't want to get stuck. I know that she can go up into these first hills, but honestly, if I don't have to go there, I'm not going to because time management is the name of the game today. So I gotta go help my navigator. I'll see y'all soon. So why am I going so slowly here? Well, Eleanor got a bit stuck in the dunes, but hey, little digging and some max tracks, and we freed her up pretty quickly. I threw my shovel in the back and we took off, but she would only make a walking speed.
No power. I'm floored.
You're shitting me? What do you need help with?
Nothing. I don't know what to do. We're gonna miss our green.
Now, my first thought, This is the power failure from yesterday. It's coming back to haunt me. We had a mere 6 minutes to make it to the next checkpoint before it closed. We watched helplessly as Rebecca's watch counted down the minutes, and we crept along, the green flag in sight, yet completely out of reach.
Hey. Hey, I don't think this one closes.
I couldn't have been more wrong in my assessment of Eleanor's power failure. Turns out, I didn't close that rear door all the way.
Let's go. Let's go.
Are you kidding me? Oh my God! I'm still in the game, baby! So, for a little background, we got a little stuck because it was soft, dug out. I opened the back door to get the shovel and didn't close the door fully. Funny thing, when you don't close the door fully of your Rolls Royce, it doesn't give you full power. And then we just thought, well, we had that weird power supply light. And then I was like, well, I might as well get out and shut my door. Boom! Takes off.
Yeah, it was a safety system that was hindering my progress. Once I closed the door, Eleanor took off with all 563 horses galloping at full canter.
Something terribly wrong with the car.
Hey, your driver's an idiot. I thought these doors were supposed to be self-closing. You get them closed a little bit and they suck themselves in. Until they don't. How's my hair?
We arrived late at the checkpoint. I got out, threw my helmet on the ground, and I cried. All I could think was that Rolls-Royce and Roadshow had entrusted me with this vehicle, and I let everybody down. I was a terrible driver. Heck, I couldn't even close a door right. I've never cried in competition before, and frankly, this was not my finest hour. Now, in order to get our heads back on straight, we decided to forego a few points in the dirt and take the highway instead. But the Rebelle Rally is all about expecting the unexpected, and it turned out we had our first flat tire.
All right, so here's where we got that little slow leak puncture, and I guess just try to shove it in. What do you think?
Yeah, if you can't get it out.
Just shove it in. All right. We got our handy tire plug kit and plug that baby up, and we got another spare.
After this flat tire, my fears were coming to fruition. I mean, these tires are decidedly not meant for off-road. It's going to be up to me as a driver to take care of them, keeping my eyes peeled for rocks and always taking the safest route. Day 3 would take us through 3 open off-highway vehicle areas crisscrossed with tracks and washes, making Rebecca's job difficult to say the least.
Whoa, Jesus, that's a big one.
Oh!
And left. No, straight. Yeah, left. Sorry.
That's okay,
sorry,
it's okay.
sorry.
We got it.
So I've been carrying around this toothbrush for like a day and a half, and this is the first time I've had a chance to use it. Oh God, so good. So we're at CV4, the black. Rebecca is triangulating. I'm brushing my teeth. It's so good.
This does have hill descent control. However, I've never been a fan of it. I just don't like, it makes me nervous to let the car do that much braking. So I'm gonna brake on my own. And look at that, oh, whatever, easy. Which way do you want me pointed?
So the way they do these black checkpoints is you have a radius that in which you get full points. I'm not sure what this one is, but usually it's 25 or 50 meters. And then they have a step in which you would get not full points. It's usually 25 meters, sometimes it's 50. And then they have the final boundary that you can get a point. And if you are actually outside of that boundary, it's considered a wide miss, and you are docked 10 points.
We are 0.003 off on lat, 0.003 off on longitude.
Oh my God, you are the best! She is the best! She is the best!
I mean, we don't know what that means as far as distance goes, so really not.
But we just know that it's pretty good.
So far, we are rocking day 3. Rebecca is spot on with her navigation, and at the end of the day, we only skipped 2 checkpoints and we received 92% of the total points. So we had day 1 and day 3 in our class, and despite our tire worries and our power code, Team 200's feeling pretty good.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Gorgeous. If anyone is coming up this road, I am going to kill them. I'm going to rock crawl right over them on my rolls.
The Rebelle Rally has 35 teams from all over the world participate, and one of our favorites was Team Record the Journey with adaptive athlete Kara Berend behind the wheel.
What's your name?
Hey, I'm Kara Barron. This is Rachel Rednow.
Hi, I'm plotting.
She is. We're here with Team Record the Journey in our 2017 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. So you wanted to talk about some hand controls, right?
Yeah.
So over here we have our setup. We have this beautiful suicide knob that Nick Guyver set up for us. And then over here we have the brake and the gas. So we push in for brake and we pull out for gas. You guys ready to get some on the road? Or are we gonna go off the road?
I think we're gonna go off-road.
I think we should.
We're gonna go off-road. Of course, it's not all hard work. I mean, sure, we tent camp each night, but we have showers and toilets available. There's a mess tent, and we have Drew Deckman, a Michelin-starred chef providing the food. The staff-to-competitor ratio is almost 1-to-1, and while we are out working hard doing our absolute best, the staff has their own rally, setting up base camp, driving the media around, and performing MacGyver mechanics on the fly and keeping us safe. Once we got the map for day 5, I knew it was going to be killer. This is the desert that I race in, and I know it well. It is rocky, it's rough, and it's no place for a Rolls Royce. When we got 2 flats at the same time in the morning of day 5, I was freaking out.
We got 2 flat tires at once.
Another team stopped to lend us their floor jack, which was a big improvement over the tiny bottle jack I had. And Eleanor doesn't have wheel studs that you can just push the tire onto and then secure with lug nuts. Instead, we had to line up the bolt holes in the wheel and the hub. Now, that's easy enough to do in a clean shop, but it's really, really hard to do in the dirt.
So we learned from our last tire mistake about getting everything.
Go. We got no time.
Okay, so we were just reminded that we are indeed in a Rolls.
As much as it feels like we're not sometimes.
You are, because we got 2 flat tires at one time. 2
We went
at once.
through crazy enduro with crazy sharp rocks. We did our best to stay on time, and then once we got to the on route enduro, we hit a rock and
They rocket, boom, boom, both of them. All right, so today, here's what I'm worried about today, after today. Because these are just snow tires, they're not any kind of an off-road tire. Where is it? Right down here is a pretty good gash in my sidewall. So I'm worried about that, right here. And if you come around to the back, I can show you what the tires look like right now. See that? That's awesome, huh? So that's obviously not fixable. So far what I've really learned about this vehicle is that because even though the tires are not so great, there's so much power and there's so much torque that it can overcome a lot of those deficiencies. Like with these tires, I can't go very fast, especially if it's a rocky uphill, but I can go slow and I can really, really just kind of very gentle on the throttle, and there's so much torque in it that it's fine going slow. Whereas if I ran another crossover that didn't have as much power, I'd really have to keep momentum going up the hill, and I don't have to in this, and that really, really helps. Doesn't help all of it because obviously I am here with 3 days left in a rally, 2 days left in a rally, and no spares, but it helps a little bit.
Emme doesn't like to know our standings, so I check our standings so that I can, at least in my mind, make some strategic decisions if we need to, but we are currently first by 50 points. All right, so right now we have our two spare tires they were on the car, have tears in them. We've sewn one of them and we're trying to patch the inside and basically have a spare that we can carry around for absolute emergency to at least get us to a place where we can get help if we need it. And the first patch didn't work. If we don't have any spare tire, which is a little scary.
When we do it as if next one.
since we're trying to avoid all of the rocks today, this has actually been pretty helpful. There is a 360-degree camera that puts a 3D image of the vehicle right there, and all I need to do is turn this and I can see what is all around me on all, like, I don't know how many that is, 8 different sections. So it's been really cool to be able to look and not have to get out of the car. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, well, we have gone to blacks today. We got all of our blues, but we did have to skip a few blacks checkpoints just in the essence of time, because I'm again going really slow trying to avoid rocks and other obstacles. So all we need to do is get the green checkpoint, and then we're on pavement and a lot of my worries go away.
The Imperial Sand Dunes, aka Glamis, are in the extreme southeast of California. At 40 miles long and 5 miles wide with few distinguishing features, there are a lot of ways to get lost out here. Some of the larger dunes rise 300 feet or more from the dune floor. Driving anything here is dangerous, but it's especially so for large, mostly stock vehicles. You can only drive what you can see, so navigators are constantly out of the vehicle and checking the other side of a dune. As such, teams can work together to mitigate the danger. Rebecca and I usually keep a pretty fast pace in the dunes, but that was with a 4-wheel drive vehicle. To be honest, I thought that the Rolls would just sink in the dunes. I mean, she's got all this gear in her, she's weighing 6,500 pounds, and she's got these dismal snow tires. But hey, I got 563 horsepower and 672 pound-feet of torque. Eleanor might just take it all in stride.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Have a great day.
Bye! The most unexciting start ever, starting at 5 miles an hour.
Navigating in the dunes is really tricky. There are very few objects for Rebecca to navigate from, and it's a lot of head straight for 279 degrees for 2 kilometers. The problem is that it's pretty impossible to go straight in the dunes. Either there's some kind of vegetation, or there's a bowl, or there's a razorback, or something is in your way. The crossover class stays on the perimeter of the dunes, and I'm pretty sure Eleanor could have gone in and much further thanks to her excellent powertrain, but regardless of vehicle, nailing a black checkpoint in these conditions are really difficult to say the least.
Are you kidding me? Penny?
They went into a turn too fast and rolled into a witch's eye.
Are you guys digging with me?
No.
That's what she just told me.
They said they were okay, but
They're okay.
Like I said, dunes are dangerous. Shifting sand, steep declines, and hidden witches' eyes can end your day in an instant. The team that rolled were okay, and they were able to drive their rig back to base camp, a testament to their mental and physical toughness.
This is the last day in Glamis, and these are all the warning lights that are on the car. So those are all the codes that it has thrown, but we're still rolling okay. Obviously, I know about the low tire pressure. That's fine. That is on purpose. The stop carefully power supply, that happened on day 1, and it hasn't been a problem. The continued driving possible chassis, I don't know what that means. That just happened today. It does say call service center at your convenience, so maybe it's not too bad. Reduced driver assistance. The pedestrian warning isn't working. I think that's because there's dirt on the front sensor. So throw in some codes today.
We ended up working with Record the Journey in the dunes because, well, we really like them. They were in a battle for second place, and we knew that if Rachel and Rebecca could work together navigating, and if Kara could follow my driving lines, we could help them get one step higher on the podium. But as it turned out, Kara was killer in the dunes, often taking the lead, and Rachel was able to interpret the map in ways that Rebecca hadn't ever seen. In the end, Team Record the Journey beat us that day by 2 points.
Last CP!
Last CP! Zero sending!
Right, sending!
We did it!
At the end of day 7 in Glamis, Rebecca and I crossed the finish line as the winners of the crossover class, and we did it in a Rolls Royce Cullinan. The SUV that everyone said was just for poshety-posh hoity-toity types conquered the Rebelle with hardly a scratch on her aftermarket skid plate, and we did it on snow tires, y'all. The win cemented Rebecca and I as the only team to win the Rebelle Rally twice, once in each category, and certainly the only team to win it in a car that cost as much as a house. The Cullinan surprised me at every turn. When I thought we'd have to move rocks, her 9-inch ride height just sailed right over them. I was convinced her heavy weight would just make her sink in the soft sand, but the gobs of power and torque made short work of the dunes. In fact, I'm confident we could have easily kept up with the 4-wheel drive vehicle in the dunes had the course took us out there. My only problem with the Cullinan is her tires. With a good set of BFG Goodrich KO2s or Nitto Grapplers in place of those street snow tires, Eleanor would be up for many an adventure. I proved to the world that the Rolls Royce Cullinan isn't just a luxury mobile, even though 99.9% of its owners will never do what I did with it. Sure, her size means she's not quite suited to the Rubicon Trail, but she's still a worthy and opulent dirt contender. Wait, did I say contender? 'Cause I meant winner.
You know, last week I thought that the Rebelle Rally was never going to end. And now that I'm here at the end, I feel like it just started. It's incredible. I'm so happy to have been able to participate with all these incredible women on this life-changing rally. And man, that Rolls Royce, you guys, it surprised me every single day. The power on it is incredible. The comfort is incredible. Does it have its faults? I mean, sure, those tires, not for off-road at all. But we came through, we kept it together, and I ended up as a winner!
All right, if you could take a luxury SUV to the dirt, which would it be? The Cullinan? The Lamborghini Urus? What about that upcoming Ferrari SUV or a Bentley Bentayga? Let me know in the comments, and as always, hit that like and subscribe buttons. And if you've already done that, follow Roadshow on the socials for great photographic content and links to our written reviews.